Before midnight, a gentle stillness is settling over your awareness right now. Not loud, not urgent, quiet, yet unmistakably present. If you are listening from the United States, from any city or small town, from a room that feels ordinary, understand this: something meaningful is unfolding inside you at this exact moment. Not by accident, not by chance, but by alignment. Pause with me for just one breath. Good. Soft pause, let the silence work. Tonight is not about fear. It is not about pressure. It is not about being chosen instead of others. It is about being called into clarity. And clarity arrives softly, like a hand resting on your shoulder, reminding you of something you already knew, but maybe forgot how to trust. Gentle reveal: there is a reason you clicked. There is a reason you stayed. And there is a reason this message found you before midnight. Archangel Michael's presence is not dramatic here. It is steady, grounded, protective in the most peaceful way. This is not a command. This is an invitation. Pause, retention moment, stay with me. Not because you are afraid to leave, but because something in you recognizes this calm. Layer 1, emotional grounding. Many people in the United States are carrying invisible weight right now. Not panic, not despair, just fatigue. The kind that comes from doing your best, showing up, caring deeply, and still wondering quietly, am I moving in the right direction? This message meets you exactly there. Not to overwhelm you, but to steady you. Slow breath cue: take a breath through your nose. Exhale gently. That's the pace of this message. Layer 2, identity without fear. You don't need to become someone new tonight. You don't need to fix everything at once. What's happening before midnight is simpler, and more powerful. You are remembering who you already are when you are not rushing, when you are not proving, when you are not performing for the world. Archangel Michael's energy always restores inner posture. Not dominance, not control, but uprightness of spirit. Pause, subtle suspense, and here is where most people scroll away. But if you stay, something interesting happens. Layer 3, the calling. Explain gently. When we say, your name is being called, we are not talking about sound. We are talking about recognition. It is the moment when your inner life and your outer life begin to align again. When your thoughts slow down enough for wisdom to surface. When decisions stop feeling heavy, and start feeling clear. This is the call. Quiet emphasis, no rush, no countdown, just awareness. Layer 4, physical plus emotional education. Subtle, your body knows this feeling. When you slow your breathing, your nervous system shifts. Your shoulders release. Your jaw softens. Your mind opens space. This is not mystical exaggeration, it is how you are designed. Spiritual clarity often arrives through physical calm. That is why this message is gentle. Pause, let it sink. If you feel your body relaxing right now, that's not coincidence. That's cooperation. Layer 5, success reframed. Success is not always acceleration. Sometimes success is alignment. Sometimes it's choosing the next right step, not the loudest one. Before midnight, you are being invited to center your direction. Not to abandon your goals. Not to question your worth. But to ask one powerful question: does my next step reflect my values? Retention hook, curiosity without fear. In a moment, I'm going to describe something very specific. And when you hear it, you'll know whether this message is meant to continue with you. But first, stay present. Layer 6, the specific moment. Have you noticed lately that quiet insights come to you late at night? Not anxiety, not noise, but clarity. That's not random. Nighttime slows the world down enough for truth to rise. Before midnight is symbolic. It's the threshold between what has been, and what can be chosen consciously. Soft suspense pause, and this is where many people feel it in their chest. Layer 7, love, centered message. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are becoming more honest with yourself. And honesty is the foundation of love, for your work, your relationships, your health, your future. Archangel Michael's energy protects integrity first. Pause, validation. if something in you feels emotional right now, let it be gentle. Nothing is wrong. Layer 8, United States focus, grounded. Across the United States, people are being taught to move fast, decide quickly, optimize constantly. This message offers something different. A pause that doesn't cost you momentum, but refines it. Think of it as adjusting the compass, not stopping the journey. Retention reinforcement. If this resonates, don't rush ahead. The next part goes deeper. Layer 9, decision without pressure, the final decision. Mentioned in the title is not external. It's internal alignment. It's the moment you stop second, guessing your intuition and start listening to it with respect. This decision feels calm, not dramatic. That's how you know it's real. Pause, quiet strength, still with me? Good. Layer 10, building anticipation for part 2. In the next part, we will explore why certain opportunities feel closer right now, why certain connections are shifting, and how to move forward without forcing anything. But for now, just stay here. Before Midnight is not about urgency, it's about presence. Closing of part 1, soft cliffhanger. There is a deeper layer to this message, one that speaks directly to direction, purpose, and confidence. And it unfolds step by step. Stay with this calm. Stay with this clarity. We continue. Now, let the stillness deepen just a little more. Not heavier, not darker, just clearer. If you are still here, it means something inside you chose presence over distraction. That choice alone already shifted the direction of your night. Soft pause, 2 seconds of silence, good. The quiet shift you've been feeling. There has been a subtle change happening within you lately. Not dramatic enough to explain easily, not loud enough to point to, but real. You may have noticed moments when things that used to matter intensely, suddenly feel less urgent, and other things, simple things, feel more meaningful than before. That is not confusion. That is alignment adjusting. Pause, let the listener reflect. Most people misunderstand this phase. They think they are losing motivation. They are not. They are gaining clarity. Why this message feels different? This is not a message that pushes you forward. It stabilizes you first. Because growth without stability becomes pressure. And pressure creates resistance. Archangel Michael's guidance always begins with grounding. You are not being asked to rush. You are being invited to stand firmly in who you are becoming. Slow breath cue. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. That rhythm matters more than you realize. The body learns before the mind. Here is something rarely explained clearly. Your body understands safety before your mind understands purpose. When your nervous system relaxes, your intuition becomes sharper. Your decisions become cleaner. Your confidence becomes quieter, but stronger. That is why this message feels calming. Calm is not the absence of ambition. It is the foundation of sustainable success. Retention pause, stay with this. We are just beginning to unfold something important. Why opportunities feel closer. Lately, have you noticed that certain possibilities feel nearer than before? Not guaranteed, not promised, but possible. This happens when internal alignment reaches a certain threshold. Opportunities don't chase chaos. They respond to coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to point in the same direction, life responds. Quietly, naturally. Pause, subtle suspense, and this is where many people miss the moment. The difference between forcing and allowing. Forcing feels tense. Allowing feels attentive. Forcing says, I must make this happen now. Allowing says, I am ready to recognize what fits. Archangel Michael's energy strengthens discernment. Not every open door is meant to be entered. Not every delay is a denial. Some pauses exist to protect your momentum. Gentle emphasis. Protection does not always look like resistance. Sometimes it looks like patience. Emotional education. Without fear, emotions are signals, not obstacles. When you feel calm curiosity, that's alignment. When you feel quiet resistance, that's guidance. When you feel peace, that's confirmation. You don't need to label emotions as positive or negative. You need to listen to them accurately. This is emotional intelligence in its purest form. Pause, 3 seconds. If you feel understood right now, that's intentional. Why late night awareness matters. Late at night, external noise reduces. Your mind stops performing. Your heart starts speaking. That's why insight often arrives when the world slows down. Before midnight represents a threshold, the space between reflection and intention. You are standing in that space right now. Retention hook, curiosity without pressure. In a moment, I'll guide you through a simple internal check that reveals more than any external advice ever could. But first, remain present. The internal check. Ask yourself, quietly, what feels true for me right now, without explanation. Don't answer immediately. Notice what arises. That feeling, that's your compass. Pause, allow silence. Physical alignment creates mental confidence. When your body is relaxed, your mind stops seeking validation. Your posture straightens naturally. Your voice becomes steadier. Your decisions feel less defensive. Confidence is not loud certainty. It is relaxed readiness. This is the kind of confidence that attracts cooperation instead of conflict. Gentle reassurance. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Your presence already communicates it. Love as a stabilizing force. Love is not intensity here. It is consistency. Love for your growth. Love for your timing. Love for your own process. When love leads, comparison fades. And when comparison fades, clarity emerges. Pause, soft emotional landing. If you've been hard on yourself lately, let that soften now. Nothing is being taken away from you. Why certain relationships feel different. You may notice some connections deepening quietly, others loosening naturally. This is not loss. It is refinement. Relationships adjust as your internal boundaries become clearer. You are learning to connect without overextending. That is emotional maturity. Retention reinforcement. If this resonates, you're exactly where you need to be. Success without exhaustion. Success does not require constant urgency. True success feels spacious. It allows rest. It allows reflection. And it arrives faster when you stop chasing it. This message is not slowing you down. It is removing friction. Pause, grounding, notice your breathing again. Steady, unforced. That's alignment in action. The role of choice, gently explained that the decision unfolding is not dramatic. It is subtle. It's the choice to trust clarity over noise. To trust steadiness over urgency. To trust yourself without apology. This choice reshapes everything that follows. Soft suspense, and there is more beneath this layer. Why this moment feels personal? Because it is. Messages don't reach everyone the same way. This one meets people who are ready to move forward without abandoning themselves. That readiness is rare and valuable. Pause, allow connection. You didn't arrive here randomly. Preparing for the next layer. In the next part, we will explore how to recognize the right timing, how to move forward without second guessing, and how to stay aligned even when the world speeds up again. But for now, stay still. Before midnight is not a deadline. It is an invitation to clarity. Closing of part 2, calm cliffhanger. Something is settling into place within you. Not loudly, not urgently, but firmly. And once it settles, forward motion becomes effortless. We continue, so let that sense of quiet certainty remain with you. Do not analyze it. Do not label it. Just notice how it feels when you stop trying to figure everything out. That feeling is not empty. It is prepared. There comes a moment in growth where effort softens and intention sharpens. You may have felt it recently, that subtle realization that pushing harder is no longer the answer. Instead, listening better is. And that shift changes everything. Pause here for a breath. Not because you are tired, but because awareness deepens in stillness. You have likely noticed that your inner dialogue has changed. The noise has reduced. The urgency has faded. In its place, something quieter has begun to speak. This voice does not rush you. It does not pressure you. It does not compare you to anyone else. It simply asks, are you willing to trust what you already know? Many people spend years searching for permission. Permission to slow down. Permission to choose differently. Permission to believe that their pace is valid. You are discovering that permission was never external. It has always been internal. Notice how different that feels. Not rebellious, not dramatic, just honest. Your body responds to honesty immediately. Your breathing evens out. Your shoulders drop. Your thoughts stop racing toward worst-case scenarios. This is not imagination. This is regulation. A regulated body creates a clear mind. A clear mind recognizes opportunity without chasing it. Opportunity rarely announces itself loudly. It arrives as a sense of fit. You don't need to convince yourself. You don't need to force enthusiasm. You simply recognize, this aligns. Stay with this awareness, because the next layer depends on it. There is a reason certain decisions feel lighter now, even when they are significant. Weight does not always indicate importance. Sometimes weight indicates resistance. When something aligns with who you are becoming, it feels calm, even if it is challenging. That calm is guidance. You are learning to distinguish between pressure and purpose. Pressure demands immediate action. Purpose invites thoughtful movement. Pressure drains energy. Purpose focuses it. This distinction will protect you more than any external advice ever could. Take another slow breath. Let your exhale be slightly longer than your inhale. Your nervous system understands that signal. As your internal state stabilizes, something interesting happens in your external world. Conversations shift. Timing improves. Small delays resolve themselves. Not because you are controlling outcomes, but because you are no longer working against yourself. This is where sustainable success begins. Not at the moment of achievement, but at the moment of alignment. You may notice that your goals are becoming clearer, but simpler, less cluttered, less influenced by what others expect, more connected to what actually matters to you. That clarity is not shrinking your vision, it is refining it. Refinement is not reduction, it is precision, and precision creates momentum without exhaustion. If you have ever wondered why some people seem to move forward effortlessly, this is often the reason. They are not working harder, they are working truer. Let this settle, because the next insight builds on it. Your emotions are no longer obstacles to manage, they are data to interpret. When something excites you gently, not intensely, that is often a sign of alignment. When something drains you repeatedly, that is information, not failure. Listening accurately is a form of intelligence. This is emotional education at its highest level. Not suppression, not indulgence, but understanding. Understanding creates choice, and choice creates freedom. Freedom does not mean doing everything you want. It means doing what matters without internal conflict. That kind of freedom is rare, and deeply powerful. Notice how this message does not demand belief. It invites recognition. That is intentional, because belief can fluctuate. Recognition is stable. You may also notice a change in how you relate to time. Less urgency, more intention. You still care, you still act, but you are no longer rushing toward imaginary deadlines. This allows you to see opportunities others miss. Opportunities often appear as quiet openings. A conversation that feels timely. An idea that returns repeatedly. A path that makes sense without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are signals. But signals require attention. Not obsession. Not fixation. Attention. Attention is a calm form of respect. When you pay attention, clarity expands. There is a subtle confidence forming within you now. Not performative. Not defensive. Grounded. This confidence does not need validation. It simply knows when to move, and when to wait. Waiting, when guided, is not stagnation. It is preparation. Preparation is invisible from the outside, but inside, it reorganizes everything. Your priorities, your boundaries, your energy. Boundaries become clearer without becoming rigid. You no longer explain. You no longer commit. You choose deliberately. This protects both your time and your well-being. Well-being is not separate from success. It is the infrastructure that supports it. Without it, progress collapses under pressure. You are building something more resilient. Let's pause again, just for a moment. If your mind tries to wander, gently bring it back. Not forcefully, kindly. Kindness toward yourself increases focus more effectively than discipline ever will. Now notice this: you are still here, not because you were told to stay, but because something in this message resonates with your lived experience. That resonance is important. It means you are ready for the next level of understanding. The next layer is about direction without doubt, not certainty about outcomes, but certainty about self-trust. When you trust yourself, uncertainty becomes navigable. Self-trust does not mean never questioning. It means knowing how to listen beneath the noise of fear. Fear speaks loudly and urgently. Wisdom speaks quietly and consistently. You are learning to hear the difference. This skill will serve you in every area of life: work, relationships, health, decision making. You don't need to master everything tonight, but you are integrating something essential. Notice how your breathing feels now compared to when this began. Notice how your thoughts have slowed. This is not accidental. This state, this calm alertness, is where insight lives. Not in tension, not in rush, here. And from this place, movement becomes intentional. Effort becomes efficient. Success becomes sustainable. There is one more layer to explore. One that connects clarity to action, without pressure. We will move into that gently, step by step. Stay present. We continue, in the next part. Stay right here. Not because anything is missing, but because something is about to connect. There is a moment in awareness when understanding stops being abstract and starts becoming usable. You don't feel inspired, you feel oriented. That is the moment you are entering now. Most people think clarity arrives as a sudden realization. In truth, it arrives as a quiet alignment of many small recognitions. You don't suddenly know everything. You simply stop being confused about what matters next. Notice how your attention has changed. You are no longer scanning for answers. You are listening for resonance. That shift is subtle and powerful. Pause here for one full breath. Let your inhale be natural. Let your exhale soften your chest. When the body relaxes, the mind stops arguing with itself. This is not poetic language. This is functional awareness. A relaxed body reduces internal resistance. Reduced resistance reveals direction. Direction does not shout. It presents itself as a sense of rightness. Not excitement. Not pressure. Rightness. This is where action becomes clean. Clean action does not waste energy on doubt. It moves forward with calm commitment. That kind of action compounds over time. You may have noticed that you are no longer drawn to chaos disguised as opportunity. Things that once felt thrilling now feel draining. Things that once felt boring now feel stable. This is not loss of ambition. It is maturity of intention. Mature intention chooses sustainability over speed. And sustainability creates success that lasts. Let that sink in. Many people chase intensity because they confuse it with progress. But intensity burns out. Consistency builds. You are learning to value consistency of self. Being the same person across situations, across moods, across outcomes. That consistency creates trust, from others, yes, but more importantly, from yourself. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Not bravado. Not certainty about the future. Confidence in your capacity to respond well. That confidence changes how you approach decisions. You stop asking, what if this goes wrong? And start asking, does this align with who I am now? That single shift eliminates countless unnecessary choices. Notice how quiet this realization feels. Truth often arrives without drama. Your nervous system recognizes alignment immediately. Your jaw unclenches. Your breathing deepens. Your thoughts slow into coherence. This is your internal guidance system functioning properly. You were designed for this. Not constant stress. Not endless urgency. But responsive clarity. Responsiveness is different from reaction. Reaction is fast and emotional. Responsiveness is attentive and grounded. You are moving from reaction into responsiveness. That transition is life-changing. Let's pause again, just long enough to feel that difference. Now consider this gently. What you are experiencing right now is not temporary motivation. It is integration. Integration means your understanding is becoming part of how you operate, not something you need to remember or repeat. Integrated awareness changes behavior effortlessly. You don't force new habits. You outgrow old ones. You may notice yourself saying no more easily, not out of resistance, out of clarity. You may notice yourself saying yes more selectively, not out of fear, out of alignment. This selectivity is not limitation. It is precision. Precision allows energy to flow where it matters. And energy directed with precision creates momentum. Momentum without friction feels almost surprising. Things move forward without struggle. Not because everything is easy, but because you are no longer divided internally. Internal division is exhausting. Alignment is energizing. This is why your physical state matters so much. When your body is calm, your mind stops fighting imaginary threats. You become available for opportunity. Opportunity is not always a new door. Sometimes it is clarity about which door to stop knocking on. That realization alone saves years. You are learning to measure progress differently, not by speed, but by coherence, not by volume, but by depth. Depth creates influence. Influence does not require force. It emerges naturally when your presence is steady. People feel steadiness. They trust it. They respond to it. This affects your relationships in subtle ways. You listen more fully. You speak more clearly. You react less defensively. Conversations become more meaningful without becoming heavier. This is emotional intelligence in action. Not techniques. Not strategies. Awareness. Awareness simplifies everything it touches. You may also notice changes in how you relate to effort. Effort no longer feels like self-betrayal. It feels like investment. You don't push yourself past your limits. You work with your capacity. That cooperation increases endurance. Endurance matters more than bursts of motivation. Endurance builds results. Take another breath. Notice how your attention remains steady. That steadiness is the sign you are ready for the next layer. The next layer is about movement. Not rushing, not forcing, but moving in a way that preserves alignment. Movement begins internally. Before you change anything externally, something shifts in how you decide. Decision-making becomes quieter. You don't need external reassurance. You don't need to announce your choices. You simply act. This quiet decisiveness is powerful. It does not argue with doubt. It moves despite it. Doubt loses strength when it is not fed attention. You are learning to starve doubt by nourishing clarity. Clarity grows when you honor small truths. The truth that you need rest. The truth that you need focus. The truth that some paths are complete. Completion is not failure. It is graduation. Graduation allows space for what's next. But space can feel uncomfortable at first, because the mind wants certainty. Here is something important to understand. Uncertainty is not the absence of direction. It is the presence of multiple possibilities. Your job is not to eliminate uncertainty. It is to choose from a grounded place within it. That skill makes you adaptable. Adaptability is the most reliable form of strength. As you integrate this awareness, you may notice your future no longer feels threatening. Unknown, yes, but not hostile. This changes how you plan. You plan with flexibility. You prepare without rigidity. You trust yourself to adjust. Trusting yourself reduces anxiety dramatically, because anxiety often comes from fearing your own responses. When you trust yourself, you stop fearing outcomes. You know you can handle them. That knowing is calm, not arrogant. Calm. Let that calm expand. You don't need to memorize this message. You are embodying it. Your breathing is steady. Your thoughts are organized. Your attention is anchored. This is the state where meaningful action emerges. In the next part, we will gently connect this internal alignment to outward steps, without pressure, without urgency, without force. You will see how clarity naturally translates into progress. For now, remain here. Let integration continue. This is not a pause in your journey. It is a strengthening of its foundation. Stay present. We continue, in the next part. Let this be the moment everything settles. Not ends, not closes, but lands. What you've been feeling through this entire message has been moving toward this quiet completion, the kind that doesn't announce itself, but leaves you standing differently than before. There is a calm finality to true understanding, not because there is nothing left to learn, but because you no longer feel scattered. You feel whole. This is the point where many people expect a dramatic conclusion, but real transformation rarely ends with fireworks. It ends with grounded confidence. Notice your state right now. Your breathing is slower. Your thoughts are less crowded. Your attention is steady. This is not coincidence. This is alignment reaching stability. You didn't come here to be impressed. You came here to be oriented. And orientation is what allows forward motion without force. The most important realization now is this: you do not need to become more than you are. You need to trust who you've already become. That trust changes how you move tomorrow. You will notice it in small ways first. You won't overthink simple decisions. You won't explain yourself unnecessarily. You won't rush to fill silence. Silence will feel comfortable. Comfortable silence is a sign of inner authority. Authority not over others, but over your own direction. This is where the message gently releases you, not with instructions, not with demands, but with clarity that stays. You may wonder what happens next. Here is the truth: nothing magical happens to you. Something practical happens within you. You wake up with a clearer sense of priority. You engage with your day more deliberately. You conserve energy instead of scattering it. This is how progress actually begins. You no longer wait for certainty to act. You act from steadiness. That steadiness absorbs uncertainty instead of fearing it. This is success at its healthiest. Not frantic, not performative, sustainable. Emotionally, you will notice more patience with yourself. Physically, your body will respond with more ease. Mentally, your thoughts will organize around what matters, not around what distracts. This is integration completing itself. And here is something important to understand: nothing about this state requires maintenance through effort. It maintains itself through awareness. When awareness fades, you simply return to it, without judgment. That is how growth becomes kind instead of punishing. You may find that some people no longer resonate with you the same way. That's okay. You're not pulling away from life. You're aligning with it. Alignment creates natural boundaries. Boundaries create safety. Safety allows creativity, connection, and contribution to flourish. Contribution is the natural outcome of inner stability. When you are stable, you have something real to offer. This is why this message ends quietly, because quiet strength doesn't need a conclusion. It continues through your actions. Before midnight was never about a deadline. It was about recognition. Recognition of your readiness to move forward without abandoning yourself. You are not being watched. You are not being judged. You are being trusted, by yourself. That trust is enough. As you move on from this moment, carry one thing with you: clarity does not shout. Alignment does not rush. And confidence does not need permission. Let your next steps be calm. Let your choices be clean. Let your pace be honest. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of embodied understanding. Stay grounded. Stay present. Stay aligned. And let the path unfold naturally from here.